What is going on, YouTube? I know this video seems like it's starting out like the last one. That's okay. But there's a million of videos like this right now. But I'm gonna do one for fun, just for the practicality of it, I guess. But so the fiance is going to get her M2. She's going to do her course she wrote for her M1 not that long ago. She's got her M2 course in May. So this video is mostly for her. I love you if you're watching this. I love you. But like, we're gonna learn how to sort of ride a motorcycle. Okay. So first and foremost, we're gonna kind of try and go through all of the switches and things and all that. Here we go. So first and foremost, you have your throttle, your front brake, your clutch. Now, because this is a metric motorcycle, your signals are on this side. On the Harleys, your left would be on this side and your right is on this side. But you either like push or pull just on your direction, and then shut it off. You just press it in. You got your horn, beep. Now you got your heel toe shifter down here. So yeah, I don't usually use the heel. I usually just use this one. And then on this side, that pedal is your rear brake. And that's pretty much it. And I feel like I'm oversimplifying it already. But this is your kill switch. And that's to select your trip tach, whatever. That's to reset your trip meters. That's your start button. So we're going to go ahead and start her up. What do you guys think? Now, this is a bigger bike. It's a 1300. So first and foremost, every bike is going to feel a little different, but the technique and like the general idea is going to be the same. Put your kickstand up. All right. So to turn it on, your key's up here. Now your key isn't always going to be up here. Sometimes it's down here. Sometimes it's here. Blah blah blah. If it's a Harley, you have like a key fob. So we turn the bike on. Let it do its thing. Usually wait like 5 seconds. And then we press the starter button. Alright, so the bike is on. So, where do you start first? Okay, so to put it in gear, you will always hold in your clutch. Okay, and then you press. And I always hold down my front brake as well, so you're not moving. But then from there, throw it. So right now you're in neutral. You'll always be in neutral when you start the bike. Neutral sometimes hard to find. So if we press one down, now you're in gear. If you bring it back up just a half, now you're in neutral. Back in neutral. So one down, you have your clutch held in and your front brake held in. And what I do is I will put my foot up here and hold your rear brake and let go of your front. Now, the biggest thing to get yourself familiarized with how it moves, you just kind of let go. You start letting go of your clutch slowly until it starts to move forward. See, just like that. See? So what I do is I'll keep my feet 2 feet on the ground and kind of go let it out. Okay, rock it back. Let it out a little bit, go forward, rock it back. It's just to get that idea of like when you let go of the clutch, it's going to move. Okay. See? And like I'm not pushing it with my legs or anything. The only thing I'm doing is I'm pushing it back. So from there, yeah. And I'm not adding anything to the throttle. No, nothing. If I added to the throttle, it doesn't really do much because the throttle or the clutch is engaged. So what the clutch basically does, it either allows power or it cuts power to the engine. Okay. So let it out. Okay. And we'll let it out. We'll say we'll go a little bit longer. Then front brake, slow her down. And with the brakes, you don't grab them, you gradual. Everything's very gradual, okay? Because if you grab onto your front brake, you're gonna go over the handlebars, depending on what speed, or you're gonna scare yourself and stall the bike and tip it over or whatever. So just get used to just opening the clutch ever so slowly. Stay in that friction zone. And that's one thing we will talk about here in a second. The friction zone in your clutch is basically the spot where it starts to move. So now it's fully in. Let it out a little bit. That's your friction zone, and then all the way out. And you just kind of move a little bit. Yep. And then front brake, and you slow it down. And just go front brake. And slow it down. So I'm using my front brake, very gradual to stop. Okay. Let it out. And then stop. Okay. So from here, I'm going to spin around here in a minute. So from here, you kind of got, you're comfortable with the clutch or what have you. You kind of figure out where that spot is. So the biggest part now is like when you really start moving is to put your feet up. Don't be afraid to put your feet up. Okay. So we'll let the clutch out for a minute, for a little bit. It's going to start to move, and as soon as you start to move, put your feet up. Because like as long as you're moving forward, it's not going to tip over. As soon as you if you panic and you pull your clutch in and you're going slow like this, I mean, that's a bad example, but you know, but like you're moving, so you're keeping your clutch in that friction zone. I'm not giving it any real throttle, it's just kind of doing it on its own. A little bit of rear brake. Turn your head where you want to go. You look, and it'll go. And that's without any sort of gas or anything. So there's that. And like, keep in mind, this is a very like crash course. This is just to kind of show you like the basic mechanics, right? So shifting, so right now we are in first gear. If I go half one up, now I'm in neutral, I can let go of my clutch. It'll still run, it'll still do all the things, it just won't move. Okay, so we're gonna go for just a little tour, and then we'll be able to really, hopefully I'll be able to explain shifting a little easier. Okay, so hold your clutch in, front brake, shift into first, one down. Okay, foot on the rear brake, let go of your front brake. And we'll add just a little bit of throttle as we let go of the clutch to move. Okay, there we go. Clutch is fully out, and it's just a little bit of throttle. like I said, everything is super gradual, okay? So you're not gonna like twist the throttle right to the back, because you'll just go flying right into this field, and that's not what we want. And we'll go this way, maybe. Good a spot as any. So I'll just flick my signal on. Now, depending on what kind of bike you have, sometimes the signals will like cancel themselves out. Alright, so we're in first gear, give it a little bit. RPMs are high, we'll clutch in, shift up. Now we're in second gear. RPMs are high, clutch in, no throttle, shift up. So to get it out of neutral, you will go one shift down, that puts you in first. Anything else, like to shift up, you're kicking your gear up, like your shifter. So like if you ever hear the term 1 down and 4 up, that's what it means. So then we're coming up to a stop sign, let go of the throttle, we'll let the RPMs drop. It's gonna die. Clutch in, 1 down. Clutch in, 1 down. We're back in first. And then we just gradually stop. Put the signal on. Both ways, we're clear. Look where you want to go. Shift up. Shift up. There it is. Now, like I said, every bike's different. Every bike will have its sweet spots here and there. I know that if I'm getting up to 60 kilometers an hour in second gear, I'm going to want to shift up to third. That's where it's comfortable at. If I get up to about 80 kilometers in third gear, I will definitely want to shift up to fourth, so on and so forth. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's all like, once you get on here and you start doing it yourself, it won't be it's not as scary as it may seem, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we're just cruising. I think we're in third gear right now. I could drop it to second if I wanted to, but I don't know if this is actually going to help anything, but one thing is, as long as you are providing power to the engine is what keeps you balanced. The engine is what keeps you balanced all the time. As long as you're giving it a little bit of power and you learn how to control it, you can go super, super slow and still be on 2 wheels and still have your balance, like no problem. No problem. It just takes practice to get to that point. Now, also, one thing I haven't really mentioned yet is, do you turn with your handlebars, or, you know, at higher speeds, are you like physically turning them? At slow speeds, you do. Like between 0 and 10 kilometers an hour, 10 and 15 kilometers an hour, you are steering with your handlebars. Now, as soon as you get above that, you're pushing. That's all you're doing. You're just pushing. So it's called counter steering. So if you want to go right, you push right. If you want to go left, you push left. So like, that little bit of information can save your life in a bend. Okay, like if you're going slow, very slow, you use your handlebars. If you're going anything over 15 kilometers an hour, okay, you push, you counter steer. And like, to get started and stuff, you do not have to like shift your weight or anything like that. It's just, it's very effortless when you're doing your counter steering. But I think the biggest thing a lot of people have to kind of get past is riding, like actually riding in traffic. So for some people it just scares the living crap out of them. Because like, when you're on the bike, I just assume that I'm invisible. Like invisible all the time. Always assume you're invisible. Always assume that somebody's going to come into your lane and smush you. And I know that's like a super morbid outlook to have, but like, it will save your life and it'll teach you how to ride defensively, I guess. And you'll end up actually almost being a little bit more of an aggressive rider just to get away from everyone else. Like, you always want to give yourself, I think they say like 2 seconds in front of you, 2 seconds on either side, in terms of space. So, I don't know, like, it all depends who you talk to, I suppose, but the idea is safe first. You know, we want to be safe first more than anything. But like, this isn't something that will come to you overnight. This isn't, it's all, the main thing is just practice. Practice, practice. And that's Bob's Motorsports right there. That's where she was sitting. So yeah, it's, I don't know if I even explained this as good as I should have, but it's like, it's the basics. It's something that you can rewatch and rewatch until you kind of figure it out. That was an e-bike, in case you're wondering why I didn't wave. That's another thing, the biker wave. No one really, it's not a requirement. But when you got, that was handy. But when you're riding and you see another biker coming past you or coming towards you, whatever, you just give them like a peace sign wave. That's it. And it's just like, it's more like a brotherhood thing, I think, but yeah, hopefully this makes sense. I don't know. Hopefully it's something you can rewatch and kind of get a better idea. But like, it's one of those things where you're not gonna feel comfortable with it until like you're actually riding every day. And like, one thing I can't stress enough is work on your slow speed stuff. It's easy to drive 80 kilometers in a straight line. If you can figure out and like master your slow speed stuff in a parking lot, and to like keep the bike upright, you can keep the bike upright in a parking lot, and everything else will come to you. Oh, for fuck. Sorry. All right. With that being said, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you found it like sort of informative, at least. But yeah, have a good day, everyone. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.